Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the studio. Sorry about the confusion at first. I started everything up, but I had not checked the sound, and the sound wasn't working, so I thought that might be a hindrance a little bit. So I restarted everything, and it's working. Or at least I hope it's working. It says it's working on my end. So. But welcome to the studio, and good morning still. I'm in Central Time. I can say good morning for another half hour. Getting started a little bit earlier today. I want to make some of the bigger items. If my camera will let me. This I did not set up again. Meeny meeny. Minnie drew blood while ago and then left. Hey, come on. Or go that way. The more difficult route and take my camera with you. There it is. Ooh. Minnie is green. That's much better. She's like, didn't you learn your lesson last time? There we go. Now we're ready to go. So I want to make quite a few things today, but the larger things obviously take a little bit more time. Let's get some of this, some of the chunky bits out of here. Make sure I've got my tools out of the way. I don't really need to use a lot of water with what I'm doing. Not as much as when I used porcelain. I felt like I had just a huge puddle here all the time. But now I don't use as much water. So I don't have as much flow coming out of my wheel where it's got like my splash pan has holes at the bottom where it's the water is supposed to ooze out. So since it doesn't, I just build up layers of chunky clay over time. I was clearing some of that out. Knitter Girl, whoa! Thank you for the resub, Knitter Girl. Thank you for the 2 years. How are you doing? Just making sure nothing is touching there. All right. So I'm going to start off bigger. Sometimes if I'm doing multiple things in a day, because most of the time I like to just sit down and then make like one thing, because that way it's the most efficient thing to do. But I need to make some bigger things, and when I need to do bigger and smaller things, I like to start with the bigger things first because it makes everything else easier. Because you do use a bit more force when moving around a larger amount of clay. This is 4 pounds. Knitter Girl, I am doing pretty good. You've had a lot of appointments? Well, I hope they all went well. You never have to apologize for not being here. I was gone for a week. Okay. So I'm going to center this again, just to make sure I got all the clay going the same direction. Yep, there was an air bubble. These are going to be mixing bowls. 4 pounds is the same amount I use for the large yarn bowls too. Ooh, what would I have done with my sponge? Uh-oh, I think I might need to go fishing. So, let me be right back. I've got to go dig around the reclaim.
You can use mine if you want to.
No, it's the bigger blue sponge they use for throwing.
And then here's mine.
The mud tool, no, it's the mud tool sponge. So it looks like the white one, but it's a different consistency. I'm pretty sure it's in the other one. Yep. They are different types of rubber. Oops. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, it was once blue, but it's a different type of rubber. These are more absorbent. There we go. I found it. And that is how sponges end up in the pug mill, because I dump out my water and it has a sponge in it, and then it gets eaten alive. I want to make 10 of these. And I really do need to slow this down a little bit. So this is the basic shape of the mixing bowl. I am going to give it a little notch right here. That's where I'm going to attach a handle. I felt a little lump. I think that's just a little air bubble. Yeah. And then on one side or the other, I kind of I'm trying to line it up with my, well, right here, the corner of the tile. So on this side, we're going to give it a lip. It's so much fun to like alter the pieces on the wheel like this because the clay is so soft. But also, like, it is nerve-wracking because it is so soft. Here we go. Yeah, the bottom was a little bit too thin, so I'm going to add some more. This is our first one, so need to know to leave a little bit more clay down there next time. But it's a little bit easier to fix something this big because we're not going too fast. We're just smoothing things out. I don't have to worry about like hitting the walls too much. Let's try that again. Much better. Before I move this, I need to make some space for it.
You want me to move those tiles?
Yeah, the ones on the bottom shelf, I'll put these on the bottom shelf.
Okay. What do you need?
Um, the ones on the bottom shelf I probably won't need this time, but then I'll start taking from the top. There we go, much better. Leave a little bit more at the bottom. Now these mixing bowls, this amount of clay, this 4 pounds, is probably the one of the larger amounts that I use, that where I can still use my 6-inch tiles, because the base is going to be about 6 inches on these. That way I don't have to try to get out the big bats and take up a lot more room. Yeah, Knitter Girl, it's been 2 years. I know you've been watching for a lot longer than that. Blamable Newt, thank you for the follow. Let's see, that's a good amount. Just checking the thickness of the base. Here we go. I'm throwing against the rib, and you've noticed I've slowed down quite a bit. The rib helps me support the shape of this, so I can throw, the form a little bit thinner. It compresses the walls while I shape them, so it helps support the weight of the piece. And of course, having it on the tile makes a huge difference too. There we go. And then let's give it a spout. I do like to have maybe a thicker rim on these. I'll make the next one a bit thicker. The thicker the rim, the more... Or a thicker rim helps stabilize the shape of the rim more. Of course, here I am like altering it quite a bit, but... Here we go. Because the first rule of making things on the pottery wheel is to make sure the clay is firmly attached to the pottery wheel. There we go. Yes, Minnie has chosen the cat bed instead of the cat cave today. Kiba with his like 4 to 5 different options here for comfort for a comfortable nap is sitting in a box full of packing paper in the front of the studio. Yeah, I knew you'd been following for a long time, little girl. Keep like bumping the camera with my head. Even though I have cameras to see a side view, for some reason, like looking at it from the angle like this is what I'm so used to that I feel like I get a more accurate view of what I need to see. Said I was going to make the rim on this one thicker, and I don't think I did. Well, maybe next time. Did I cut it off? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. DJ, you're currently trying to throw the thumb mugs, like itty bitty tiny mugs? Oh, no, no, no. When you try to make the thumb ended, it keeps messing with the mug shape. Okay, you mean like ones that like have a like thumbprint in them so you can hold it? Um, I think you're always gonna uh warp the mug because you're warping the entire thing. You can the trick is getting it, doing that when it's before it gets too dry because you don't want to crack it, right? Um, I think when I made some, I think I did it on the wheel. I didn't wait. Yeah, I think I did it on the wheel. That way, if you like uh, messed up the rim, you could then like smooth it out again. I think that's what I did when I made those. But they were like really small, like bourbon cup things, maybe 8 ounces at the most. And maybe you're making more of an imprint than I was. I was just doing a little thumbprint for one finger, and so that didn't really like mess with the rest of the mug too much. Ooh, air bubbles. So I'm wondering if doing it on the wheel is like the clay is so soft you barely have to put any pressure on it to move it, and so it doesn't affect everything else. Never thought about it. Sometimes when you try something and it works fine, you don't think about all the other 15 million ways that it could go wrong doing it another way. Let me slow it down just a little bit. Now I said I wanted this to have a thicker rim, so that's what I'm going to try to do. And then I'm stretching this out in stages instead of trying to stretch it out all at once. I think that's a pretty good rim width, maybe a little bit wider. Goose. I don't know. I may have, but I don't know. I've not heard of the name Goose to recognize it. What type of music is it? Yeah, Daniel had a weird like comment at the gallery because we play usually like jazz, kind of electro swing or 1940s type music in there, similar to what we have here. But nothing like super loud or crazy, and or sometimes blues. But like somebody like walked in and was listening to the music and was like, "You really like this type of music? Like kind of snottily like that?" We're like well, what kind of question is that? Like, jammy goodness. And then of course these are going to get a handle on the opposite side here. I do have to be careful when setting them down because it's kind of wobbly and Minnie's got such a hard life. Come on, stay with me now. Stay with me. We got a little bit of a wobble here. Here we go. You probably can't hear it, but we have our, I heard the noon siren go off, so I know what time it is. I got started a little bit earlier today because I wanted to have enough time to make some of these bigger things. We live in a very small, traditionally agricultural area. And so they have a tornado siren that they fire off at noon every day, and it just happens to be right across the street. So we hear it loud and clear. I like to say they have a big horn, so they like to toot it. There we go. I think this one's a little bit taller than wider. I think I like this one better. You don't have tornado sirens there up in Canada. I guess it's not something that's all that prevalent up there, huh? Minnie's over here twitching. You have cold funnels. Is that like a snow tornado? Really? Yeah, Newt, you got your first tornado alert on your phone in Denver the other day, and it was quite a surprise because that's the first one since you moved here 7 years ago. Yeah. Ah. Oops. Here we go. Was Newt? Are you asking was the tornado on fire? That's one I've not seen before. Oh, okay. Alberta has been getting wrecked by wildfires already. Okay, so there was this part of that the part of that like conversation that I missed. So, Knitter Girl, I guess it's good that your area is not the one getting wildfires, but I'm sure you're still affected by the smoke and such. Yeah, smoke. I never like respected what y'all had to deal with wildfires and such as far as like the smoke because I'm in southern Kentucky and we thankfully don't have that big of an issue with wildfires, but we had on the outskirts of town there was like a mulch processing plant a year or two ago that caught fire, and the amount of hazy smoke that was in the downtown area here, like miles away from where this place actually was just like mind boggling to me that it takes over that large of an area. So it gave me some perspective of what y'all have to deal with on a daily basis. Yeah, yeah, it's all the wind. Yeah. Hey, Diz. Ooh. Any fun plans? I am going to a friend's house. We're cooking out and playing games. Oh, come on, don't do that. I'm going with my mother tomorrow to an antique fair. See what we can find. Yeah, it is. This is 4 pounds of clay. Dominion. I haven't played Dominion in a long time. There is a game that is actually based out of Nashville. The company is based in Nashville that we found last year. It's called Moonrakers, and it's a good like game that like it moves quickly. It has like you can work together or work by yourself. It has a lot of good aspects to the game. It's like a deck building and kind of a battle game. What are some others we play? We love Terraforming Mars and Ares. The deck building like version of it is actually I kind of like it better. It's a good one. What they did is they have Terraforming Mars is good, but then they made a deck building game version that was supposed to be a bit faster. And what it does is it fixes a lot of the maybe annoying mechanics of the main game. So now they've added enough expansions to where you can play the the Ares, version of Terraforming Mars with all of the aspects of the original, just with some of the mechanics fixed. And so I like that one. We got in, well, there's Everdale we got in because we got in some of the expansions for it, so we played that a little bit. Yeah, next month we're going to Origins, so we may find some new games to play with. I'm going as a vendor, so hopefully I will make some money and also not spend it all there. Let me see what this is, because I was expecting a phone call. Be right back. It was nothing. Today I'm answering all of my calls that would normally be spam. Because I'm waiting on a call back, so I just looked up the number that I'm supposed to be looking for. Alright, it's a little bit wonky, but I think it'll still work. But I normally, for board games, we like worker placement games or things with like simultaneous play. So another thing about Moonrakers is it's turn based, but there's also everybody can do something on every turn. Earth is another one that we just learned recently. Speaking of simultaneous play, because I love a lot of the strategy based board games, but the worst part, especially if you have a lot of people playing, is waiting for your turn to come around again. So, should have done this first before I cut it off. I'll have to cut it off again. But board games are the type of games I like to play. Sometimes on apps and sometimes, online, but mostly just like in person. So don't get to do it, all that often, but we really enjoy it. So school is out for a lot of people now. I know my nieces are like their last week of school was this week, and my youngest niece is she was in the third grade, and they had them do a research project. Like, wait for this. What Wonder Hamster? Oh no, Wonder Hamster. Thanks for that. Yeah. Girls can't win board games. What was the score on that last game we played? What was it? I think I won. But no, my in my niece's class, in her third grade class, they had them do a research project, right? A research project and make their own Pokemon card. And so they researched the animals and they drew pictures of their animal and talked about the powers they had and did I'm assuming math was involved with like how their character would work and this and that. And at the end of the year for their research project, they made and handed them out their own, like they made little custom Pokemon cards and gave it to each of them with their artwork on it. And I thought that was like the greatest thing ever. I am no longer a question mark, Wonder Hamster. I once was. No longer a question mark. Someone called me that because I was the only girl at the game shop. But with easier and more open access to all different types of games, people of all types feel more welcome, playing games. It's not the boys' club anymore. DJ, isn't it awesome? Whoa, DJ, you're graduating in December and you will finally be an art teacher. Nice. You could use that Pokemon card idea, yes. I guess depending on the age group, magic cards, all kinds of cards. Just gaming's things in general. Are you targeting a certain age group or just all ages? You're playing Pokemon while watching. I don't want that shape. I want it a little bit more wider on the bottom. Let's slow it down a bit. Using the rib really lets me control the shape a bit more. There we go. And then put a notch right there. Newt, thanks for stopping by. Again, I did that before I put a spout on it. Let's put the spout on there. Fenrir, hey, big bowls. Yeah, these are going to be like mixing bowls or batter bowls. And so we're going to give it a big spout, big chunky spout for pancake batter and pancake batter, muffin batter. Here we go. DJ, welcome back. There's 8. Is that right? 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. So do 2 more. It's funny how solid yet floppy clay is, yes. Especially when you make something like that. Like what, a lot of people will do is make something big like that with a big, huge, chunky like base so that it supports the weight of the top. So maybe it won't be as wobbly when you're moving it around. But then you have to flip it over once it dries a bit and trim all of that extra clay off. I'm trying to avoid that. And so sometimes have to be gentle with things. That's why I use these tiles so I don't have to, pick it up off the wheel You can just set it aside, let it dry a bit. And then the bottom is just nice and flat. They are extremely convenient. Yeah, I use them because most of the things I make are smaller, like the mugs. I don't need a great big huge bat for that. And so this is probably like on the larger end of what I make with these tiles. But anything where the base doesn't need to be any bigger than 6 inches, they work. You're a trimmer. Come on. Didn't have enough water there. Your reclaim bucket is gross and heavy. Well, I have a reclaimed trash can. And it is on rollers. We go through a lot of reclaim, but not as much as thankfully as I could. I'm gonna see if I can do anything with this. No, I just I don't like trimming. So I figure out ways to get around it while still having a good product. All right, we're a little bit thin up there, so let's see. Mm, I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's not flopped over quite yet, so let's see. Yeah, trimming is one of your favorite things to do. Yeah, and for some people it is, and it can be just as like therapeutic as the throwing process, even when I have crap like this going on. It's just another way of shaping the pot. And honestly, like we are taught to do it that way, and it was something that once I saw other people not trimming, I'm like, oh, then there's other ways. I don't have to. Nope, I'm a Smurf. Here we go. The only things I tend to trim are like large pieces. Like I think the most recent thing I've trimmed are my colanders and berry bowls, things that are gonna have I've got a pattern of holes being punched into them. So I feel like they need to be trimmed. But most things I don't. All right, I'm gonna try this one. We're gonna try it. Yeah, my one of my teachers, I remember he was Greek, and he went off one time. He's like, why do you Americans think you have to trim everything all the time? I'm like, well, what do you do? Okay, if you're telling me I don't have to, then I won't. All right, maybe. Let's try it. I feel like it's gonna like lean to one side. All right, one more. It's me, cause I'm on the screen. I killed it. Glitter Queen, hey, how are you? This is 4 pounds of clay. Wonder Hamster is correct. It is a batter bowl, or that's what it will be. I hope. Probably just jinxed it. What's this? You really want to do the Gen 1 Pokemon cross stitch, but it's like a whole 105 different colors. That is a lot of money. Is it a kit or is it just a pattern? So tell me this, Finrir, how do you do your cross stitching? Because until like a few years ago, I didn't realize there was more than one way to do it. I always did one color at a time for my cross stitch and do everything in one color and then move to another color and do everything. But my grandmother and a lot of people that I've seen on Twitch do like all the colors at once and go row by row, and that like is stressful to me. I do one color at a time. So you could just pick a color, do one color a week, or one or two or three colors. Oh, one section can have like 20 colors or more because just like one creature. Yeah, I've got to hurry up. Too late. Kaiju Kiba is here. Hold on, buddy. Zian, how are you? I'm good. We got both cats here with us, making it an official craft stream. Give me a second. I gotta move my thing. There we go. So he doesn't get his little feet wet. He's like, where are you going? Hey, buddy. I hear that purr. I hear it. Minnie does too. She's like, this bed is so comfy. It is so nice and comfy to stretch out. There we go. Can't be a stream without Kiba sticking his butt in the camera. Whoa, that's huge. 28 by 50 inches? That is massive. Mm-hmm. 151 Pokemon, yeah. Plus to make everything like legible and stuff. Ready to go for a spin? Hmm. We won't go too fast. But you still managed to get your clay, your tail dirty. What a realistic looking clay cat, right? Complete with purring sensation. This is Kiba. And cleaning out the splash, yeah, the tray with his tail. He is. He's got it over here. He's got a little bit of clay on his tail. I don't know if you can see it. There he is. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I touched your tail. I'm sorry. You gonna go talk with Minnie? He's like, it's not much of a tail, but I'm kind of attached to it. All right, come on. Gotta get some clay water. So next, I'm gonna make a few travel mugs. I really only need 10, so I'm gonna make like 12 or 15 or so. So we'll do this. I'll measure one and then set a guide. Clay water is the best water. You gotta get those minerals in. And he's like, I thought you were gonna clean out your ears better than that. Lassa, thank you for the resub. Oh no, this is not gonna end well. There we go. All right. He didn't even touch it. He's just climbing down. There he goes. He has a path where he knows how to get up and get down all by himself. Lassa, how are you? Exhausted. Minnie's face. Yeah, I couldn't see it. You know, Lassa, sometimes I could say the same thing, exhausted but fine. No, we're doing good. Ooh. Well, I might have just destroyed this first one. Let's see how far I cut into it. Profit's good. I'm glad everything came in okay. Good, good, good. Sometimes you feel like you're more excited about school being done than your kid, yeah. Nope. I don't think this one's going to make it. Wonder if I can make this into a smaller mug. Where is something to cut with? Whew. Whew, sorry about that, guys. Thank you. Little bitty 10-ounce mug. Could be a little bit taller. All right. So it got a little bit thin on top, so I have to be careful about that. I could just see me like grabbing the ruler and like it landing on this thing and ruining it. There we go. Got to get back in the habit of having a lighter touch. Started off with those big things. I did not set my guide. Oh no. All right. Okay, good width. Let's check on the height. Good height. Set the guide this time. Yeah, you're witnessing the, it's fine, everything's fine. Well, Minnie's like, can you keep it down? I'm trying to sleep. All right, let's try this again. These are the days of throwing travel mugs when I'm glad I don't have to do more than 10 to 12. Because while I think I can still do them like fairly efficiently, they're a very precise item. I have to measure each one of them, and they can still be a bit stressful. So sometimes I like to break up bigger orders of these into making, 10 to 20 a day while working on other things. Because it is hard to motivate myself into sitting here and making like 50 of these or 100 of these. Okay. A little bit of hydrating and stretching. So with these guys, I've got to have the rim here be really thin, so that the silicone lid I have makes a good fit. The clay shrinks, but you also have to account for the glaze in the sizing. It adds some thickness, but around the rim, and especially since the rim comes to such a point that it's going to be the thinnest there, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. Guess glazes aren't usually that heavy anyway. No, glaze will add a little bit. It will, especially when you've got something, the size of a mug. When you're glazing it on the inside and the outside, it'll add a little bit of weight, but not too significant of amount. Thanks, Wonder Hamster. Someone else did it for you. They are glazed. Somebody else just did it for you. Yeah. No, I have found like when measuring like how much like things shrink and how much is water weight versus, the clay, like starting out as a 1 pound piece of clay, the final ship weight is going to be just less than a pound. And I know I measured it. I may even have written it down at one point, like what a piece weighs after it's been bisque fired, and then what it weighs then after it's been glaze fired. So the water weight that is lost from a piece of clay is then kind of made up for when you glaze it. So the weight of a glaze is not huge, but it does it is a little bit because you're coating it in glass. It's a few ounces at least. Gotta remember what I'm making here. This is supposed to be a travel mug. Wonder Hamster sends me a text that says, "So I hear you didn't like strippers," with a picture of wire strippers. Here, I'm thinking it's something urgent. The sign told you to ask. So there's a sign like, so we're the shop where we're at. It's in downtown Nashville. It's like there's so many different things around us. There's condos. There's this and that. There's big office buildings, but there's also a lot of strip clubs. And one of them has this massively huge billboard that you can see like right when you're getting off the exit to go to the Marathon Village. And it says, what does it say? It's like it's like women like girls too. Just ask her. That's what the billboard says. Hey, what type of tomato really smells? Oh, is that what it says? Bring your wife. Women like girls too. Just ask. What type of tomato really smells? A Roma tomato. I heard that laugh.